Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Michal Marcus. I'm the Executive Director of HFLA of Northeast Ohio. And this is my good friend, Jeremy Umansky, owner of Larder Bakery and Delicatessen, and HFLA's 2019 Planting Seeds Award recipient.
Hello there, Michal. Thanks for having me this evening. I'm so excited to kick off HFLA's first ever virtual event, Dinner with HFLA. I'm joined this evening by my friends, Douglas Katz. He's the owner of Fire Food and Drink, Zug, Chutney Bee, and Chimmy, and the awesome duo of Brandon Riggs and Dawn Fox, owners of Rising Star Coffee Roasters. We'll take you through a 3-course meal using ingredients from up-and-coming local food entrepreneurs, in addition to HFLA business loan recipients, Micah Specialty Foods, and the Cleveland Cookie Dough Company.
At HFLA, we consider ourselves lucky to have the opportunity to share an evening with not only some of the best chefs in Cleveland, but with those who have supported and helped us grow over the years. Each chef is going to guide us through a course this evening. Jeremy will help us prep an appetizer. Douglas Katz will take us through our entree, and Brandon and Don will help us whip up a delicious dessert.
Michal, on behalf of small business owners and the great chefs participating in tonight's event, thank you for providing Northeast Ohioans with financial help when they need it most. Not only did you make a difference in my life, but just as you were 10 years ago for me, you continue to be a lifeline to those in need now. Special thank you to J Auto Group for helping make this event possible tonight.
Thank you, Jeremy. You should have all received the recipes via email, so feel free to follow along with the chefs or sit back and relax and watch the pros go to work. We do have a couple ways for you to engage with us and our other guests this evening, and here to tell us more about that is our board president, Laura Kleinman.
Hello, it's really nice to be here tonight, and thank you, Michal. If you're not familiar with Zoom, you will notice a toolbar at the bottom that features a chat option, and there's also a Q&A option. You can use the chat box throughout the evening to interact with all panelists and attendees. And if you have any questions for HFLA or the chefs, feel free to add it to the queue using the Q&A feature. We will try to answer your questions after dessert, and I may even pepper in a few during the demonstrations. So I know we're all hungry, so Jeremy, let's get started.
Thank you, Laura and Michal. Let's get started with a couple of appetizers that we love to make and serve at Larder. I'll show you how to make a creamed watermelon and green tomato salad with watermelon rind. I'm happy to answer any questions, so don't be shy about using the Q&A feature. These are 2 appetizers we serve at Larder in the height of summer that are light, refreshing, and are just simple and fun to make. Let's start with the creamed watermelon. We've got some beautiful watermelon here, and yes, it comes in yellow. You can also find it in orange and other colors at the farmer's market. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna carefully remove the rind so that we can save it for our other salad. Just cut along and save this part. It's okay if you leave a little bit of the flesh on the rind also. It won't impact the other dish.
Hey, Jeremy, it's Laura Kleinman here, and I'm really honored to be co-hosting this evening with Michal. But I got a couple questions for you as you do your prep. So most of us throw the watermelon rind away. How'd you come up with the idea of using it as a component in this dish?
Well, so both in cuisines from the southern US where they pickle watermelon rind, we also see this throughout early American cuisine in general, New England coastal cuisine, but in Russian and Ukrainian and even Polish tradition, they would make pickled watermelon. Throughout Asia and Europe, we see them doing the whole slice rind and flesh. And in America, we just see the rind being used. So this is something that's been done for quite a long time.
Great,
and
thanks.
It's a great, crisp, refreshing ingredient, and there's no reason you're paying for it. Why would you throw it out? After we have it all diced up And you want this dish to have a little bit of substance to it. So go for, a larger, bigger dice. What you're going to do then is you're going to chop up your parsley. And the recipe says 4 sprigs. If you like more parsley, you can use it. If you like less parsley, or even if you want to use a different herb, you can do it. I was picking carrots in my garden earlier, and carrot tops work fantastic. They're related to parsley, so they got a really nice, fresh, similar flavor. But whatever you do, make sure you cut up everything, leaves and stems. The stems are going to add a nice little bit of added crunch that you weren't expecting from this, because the watermelon does, while it is crisp, it has a softer texture. And once again, things don't have to be perfect. So we're going to add that in. We've got some of our pickling spice. We're going to sprinkle that on. Mine didn't get as ground as finely as I had hoped. And then we've got our creme fraiche or sour cream. You could also use like British style clotted cream. So we're going to add it in, mix it up. A little bit of creme fraiche or sour cream in this dish goes a long way. So you don't necessarily want to drown everything. This is really nice if you want to pair this with some grilled herring or mackerel too in the summer. I think that creamed herring your grandparents loved.
Hey, Jeremy, it's Laura again. Is your preference creme fraiche or sour cream?
I like creme fraiche because it has more of a tang than most sour creams you get these days. If you can make sour cream yourself, go for it and use that, because that's going to be the best. But if you're getting store-bought stuff, I'm using Snowville creme fraiche tonight. It's local and it's fantastic. It's a great product to use. So, and let's see. I'm going to come to the camera. How's that looking?
Oh, it looks delicious.
Always salt and add pepper to some of these foods to taste. Pepper doesn't have to go with everything, but salt should definitely go with everything. So just a little bit, and whatever type of salt you have, you can use, whether you use kosher salt or fine grain salt or a fancy smoked salt. They're all good. This dish goes, a little bit of pepper helps too with the pickling spice. And there you have. I mean, we did that in just a couple minutes, which leaves us a couple minutes to do our other dish. You'll notice too, I'm not even going to wipe down my cutting board. We're just using vegetables. I've got herbs in the next dish, so it's okay if there's a little bit of parsley and stuff sticking around. Oh, I did forget the garlic in that. Grate the garlic and add it to your watermelon salad. For our next dish, this green tomato dish, a lot of people, when they think of green tomatoes, they just kind of think of fried green tomatoes as the only way to use them. And while I do love that, it's not the only way. Tomatoes, when they're not ripe, sometimes they fall off in your garden, or they have them for a great price at the farmer's market this time of year. They are wonderful. They're tart, they're crisp, they're refreshing. So we're going to start here by cutting these slices.
Jeremy?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry to interrupt, but I guess that's what I'm supposed to do. Can you find green tomatoes all year round?
You know what? Pretty close. At the restaurant, through our produce purveyors, we can order them in the dead of winter. And I wouldn't be surprised if you asked the people in the produce department at your favorite grocery store, like Heinen's or Segarra's, they'd probably be able to source them for you. They're not going to be cheap in the middle of winter, but you should be able to get them. So one of the things we want to do too is with these slices, we want to keep them no bigger than 1 or 2 bites. That's something you should take into consideration when you're cooking. If things are massive, people are going to struggle to eat it. So we're going to take our tomatoes, get them going in our bowl. We're also going to use some red onion here. Found this beautiful, beautiful one at the farmer's market. So whether you're using what they call spring onions with the greens attached, or one that's got the dried papery husk, it's all good. This one's a little bigger than we need for the recipe, so we can save the rest for later. But one of the things we want to do is slice this as thin as possible. If you have a mandolin at home, it's a great use for that tool. I'm one of those people that feels you can never have too much onion or garlic. So we're going to add that to our bowl. We also have some fresh dill. And I've got this beautiful crown dill in my garden that has the flowers on it. It tends to be a lot more intense and fragrant than some of the dill you might get at the supermarket. So if you're using crown dill, use the flowers, use the seeds that's on there. Just keep in mind, it's going to be very, very flavorful. We're going to add a little bit of salt. And I heard from a couple people they had trouble or looking for some of the black vinegar. So you can find this easily. Park to Shop on East 30th. They're out of Columbus and Cleveland, a local Asian market. They often carry Chinese black vinegar. There's a couple other Asian markets in town you might be able to find it at. I heard about one off of Warrensville Road by Miles, or off of Miles by Warrensville. But it's a great vinegar. I think it's so much more robust than balsamic, especially the balsamic we get in the United States, which isn't the best. It's savory and sweet and complex at the same time. So we make this one at larder out of sweet potatoes. It's absolutely wonderful. So we're going to add this here. And because the onion has so much bite, and because the tomato can be so acidic and crisp, we want to use a vinegar that has a little bit of body. And that's why we picked this Chinese black vinegar. So we're going to go ahead and mix it up. This one is also best too. You can make this even a day ahead of time and let it sit and really marinate with the vinegar and the salt you put on it. Just soak up those flavors, and it's really, really nice.
Jeremy, while you were mixing and marinating, can you tell us how you got to know HFLA?
I was super, super fortunate. A number of years ago, when I decided that I wanted to go to culinary school and become a chef, HFLA came through with a really, really helpful loan for me. One of the most intimidating things for a lot of students is finding out that list of supplies you have to get, right? You've already secured your loans for your tuition, maybe your housing, and then you get hit with this laundry list of textbooks. And going to culinary school, it's more than that. It's knife kits, it's chef coats, it's all these things. So I was able, with the help of my parents, to get a loan through HFLA. Without that, I would have had a lot of extra things to worry about. And that loan was so helpful that we fast forward, I don't know, give or take 15 years at this point. I still have those knives. I use them at larder all the time. That investment in me and being able to pursue a dream for my future was just the beginning of a series of chain events that led to where I am now. So HFLA does such great work. Reinvesting in our community, letting people use money without penalizing them for doing so to pursue a dream that's going to better themselves and the community. I can't think of something better to help and to support. It's really, really fantastic. All right, for those of you cooking at home, did you taste as you're going? I haven't been. I do this every day. I got a little bit of an idea. But I'm gonna add a little more salt because I didn't see that much liquid in here yet. And it looks like we're ready. Michal, can you smell this through the camera?
Oh my God, that looks so good.
These hot summer days, these two dishes are perfect. You'll love them.
So if anyone hasn't been to Larder yet in Hingetown, you are truly missing out. So you need to go.
Well, thank you.
So Jeremy, thanks. And we will see you soon. And I'm sure I will be at Larder very soon.
Thank you, Michal. It has been a pleasure. And I hope everyone has the opportunity to stop by and see us. And also make sure you take a moment to see the other chefs tonight and support some of the other businesses.
All right. For our main course, we have Chef Douglas Katz. And Doug's been a part of HFLA's annual gala for the past 4 years. And His support just has meant the world to us.
Hi, McCall and Jeremy. That looks delicious. I'm Douglas Katz, and I will be walking you through how to make our main course for this evening. Braised beef tacos marinated in Micah's Supreme Sauce. If you've received this recipe ahead of time, I hope you were able to get the beef marinated and prepared, along with the pickled Fresnos, in order to follow along with me. If not, you can take notes and do it later. Now head over to my stove here, and I'll show you what we've got cooking.
Hey Doug, it's Laura. While you're moving over to your stove, if I wanted to make this dish for my family, but I was short on time, what's the least amount of time I should marinate the beef?
You could do it for an hour, but definitely the longer you can let it sit in that marinade, the better.
Gotcha.
So I'm already sauteing the zucchini, and I have different zucchini from the farmer's market. There's baby zucchinis, there's golden zucchini, there's a little bit of scallion in the saute. And now I'm going to add the julienne onion and the corn, the sweet corn. And all of these ingredients really eat well with the taco. So we are just going to saute that for about 3 to 4 minutes. You can season that with a little bit of salt and a little bit of pepper as well. And we'll let that continue sauteing. And here are our corn tortillas. You can use flour tortillas. I like the flavor of the corn tortilla much more. And I really actually like it when you can cook these tortillas right on your burner. So if you have a gas burner, you can just put it right on the gas burner. And it takes about, 30 seconds or so per side. And then you just flip that over. And then you'll see it start to puff. Or you can do it in a dry pan, just like this. Once those are nicely puffed and hot, then you would put that on this plate here, and we will top it with our beef, which is really nice and soft. And that sauce just has great acid to it, and it really breaks down the meat. We'll top it with a little bit of sour cream and our Fresno chilies. And if you don't like the Fresno chili, if you don't like it super spicy, you can use a bell pepper instead if you like. Now, before we wrap things up and wait for our scallion saute, I'd like to pass it over to our HFLA business loan recipient, Nana, whose sauce we are using today for our marinade.
Hi everybody, my name is Nana Kwamena Techimaika. I'm the founder and CEO of Micah Specialty Foods. We established our business in 2014, and when I was a student in Hiram College in the entrepreneurship program. I arrived in the United States in 2010, and I soon realized that there were no African food products in grocery stores. It was very difficult to find any African food products. And so I was inspired to start a business that will offer authentic African food products that will be available in grocery store shelves and online. And that inspired me to launch Supreme Sauce Marinade, my mother's recipe from Ghana. It is an all-natural marinade that you can also use as a salsa, a marinara, or a cocktail sauce. It's also a vegan-friendly product, and you can use it to make mushroom and zucchini with onions like I have on this plate here with long grain rice. There's something for everybody. It's highly versatile, and there's so many different things you can use for it. And HFLA has allowed us to expand our product line, and also we are in the process of also launching more products down the line. And we're very appreciative of the mentorship and guidance that we have received through HFLA, and we look forward to our continuous growth and success of our business. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your story, Nana. See, I'm just going to finish garnishing our tacos here.
Doug, it's Laura again. When you put the corn taco on the soft taco on the burner, do you use a high heat, medium heat, low heat? Do you just sort of wing it? What would
You want a very hot pan, but they will burn if you, if it's too hot. So you just want to work quickly, and it's better to work quickly and have it brown the tortilla a little bit.
Okay.
So it's wonderful to be able to hear about the help HFLA provides this very determined young entrepreneur. If you were catching up on these final steps, you can see the finished product here. Once your tacos are assembled, you can put them on your plate and garnish with the sauté and enjoy. Again, this is the supreme sauce that just really adds an amazing flavor to and when you're marinating meats.
Douglas, before we let you go, would you mind telling us a little bit about your connection to HFLA and its support of the community?
So HFLA provides the perfect support and opportunities for people who work in the food and beverage industry. I appreciate the support, and it gives me a resource that I can recommend to my employees. As a small business owner managing multiple restaurants, I can personally attest to how important it is to have a funding source to turn to. HFLA's business and standard loans have helped restaurant owners and their employees keep the lights on, in the literal sense, in the past 3 months. In 1904, HFLA provided, sorry about that. Since 1904, HFLA has provided small businesses like Nana's with capital in the form of interest-free loans. I hope everyone is enjoying their tacos right now. HFLA, thank you for having me and for introducing me to Nana's delicious sauce.
Thank you so much, Douglas. I'm so glad we were able to incorporate Micah's Supreme Sauce. You can find Nana's sauce available at Zagara's, Nature's Oasis, and Amazon. And actually also at the farmer's market. I see them at Shaker Square every Saturday. Next up, we have Brandon and Don of Rising Star Coffee making a refreshing coffee shake shot.
Thank you, McCall. Hi, everyone. My name is Brandon Riggs, and this is Don Fox. We are co-owners of Rising Star Coffee Roasters based in Cleveland, Ohio. We're very excited to be here with you this evening, and we're excited to share with you this dessert concoction that we created. We're going to be making something called peanut butter coffee shake shot. It's a lot of words, but it's a lot of flavor. But it's really simple ingredients. Rising Star cold brew, Mitchell's vanilla bean ice cream, Kahlua, and Cleveland Cookie Dough Company's peanut butter cookie dough. So we experimented a lot with this dessert, and we worked really closely with Vicki of Cleveland Cookie Dough to create the recipe that you're going to see tonight. In fact, I'm pretty sure that we sampled all of their cookie dough for, quality control and just to make sure everything tasted good. But the great thing about Cleveland Cookie Dough is that they're also located in the historic Hildebrandt building in Ohio City, where our roastery is located. So it was pretty easy. So I want to talk about the cold brew that we're going to be using tonight. We use 2 different coffees for our cold brew at Rising Star. The first one is a Peru. It comes from a co-op in a city called Villarica. I've been to this co-op personally, and they are trying really hard to get Peruvian coffee become a bigger player in the specialty coffee industry. The region that this village sits is called Pasco, and it's really a beautiful area of the country. It's surrounded by jungle, it's fairly high altitude, and they produce really nice coffees. The co-op directors are very dedicated to making their members' farms better in order to sell more coffee internationally. So this is the 3rd year that we've worked with this particular co-op, and we're really excited about it. One of the reasons why we use this coffee in our cold brew is it has a really intense dark chocolate flavor with some subtle spices as well. So even in a cold brew method, that does really nicely. That dark chocolate flavor really shines through. And then we blend this coffee with another coffee from Nicaragua. And Chef Katz has actually been to this farm with me. It's called Los Regalos. It's in the Jinotega region of Nicaragua. And Ronald and Noelia are the owners of this farm. Ronald and Noelia are some of the kindest and hardest working producers that I've visited at Origin. And I think one of the most interesting stories that Ronald told me when we were there was during harvest, he sleeps in the highest altitudes of his farm to prevent people from stealing his coffee cherries from his trees. That's how good his product is. And it really shows in the final cup. We use this coffee because it's high grown. That means it's going to have a high, bright acidity, and that shines through even in a cold brew. It sort of makes the whole cold brew alive and lively on your palate. There are really nice caramel notes in this coffee, and that balances really nicely with the chocolate from the Peru. Okay, are we ready?
So,
Okay, so the recipe that we're going to give you is kind of a guideline, depending on how many people you have, how much alcohol you want in it, you can just make changes. So, but what we're going to do tonight is we're going to use about 1.5 pints of Mitchell's vanilla bean ice cream, 1 cup of Cleveland cookie dough peanut butter dough, 4 ounces of Kahlua, and 4 ounces of cold brew. And then after it's all blended, we're going to top it off with a little fresh whipped cream.
Brandon,
Yes.
and Don, if from a dietary standpoint, can you substitute the Mitchell's ice cream with almond milk or yogurt?
Yeah, definitely. You would have to experiment a little bit with the how much for the consistency, but that's totally doable.
Okay.
And the reason why we use Mitchell's ice cream is we needed something in this drink to give it texture and substance. So we've always wanted to make like a cold brew milkshake, if you will. So we decided to highlight another great company in Cleveland, which is Mitchell's Ice Cream. And then since we learned there was going to be an after dinner drink, we decided to add Kahlua because why not? And I think that it gives it a little kick and makes it a little more interesting. Okay, we should blend this. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see what Don is doing.
Right. So
we'll put the ice cream in.
Which it seems like a lot, but gotta get it nice and thick.
Put about a cup of Cleveland cookie dough, peanut butter cookie dough. And then about 4 ounces of cold brew. And then about 4 ounces of Kahlua. Turn on. Cool. So the flavor of this drink, it's very sweet, but it's nicely balanced with a lovely chocolate flavor from our cold brew. and a really nice peanut butter flavor from Cleveland Cookie Dough Company. And we also determined that since we all have probably gained weight during this lockdown, that we should serve this in little glasses, which you'll see after, don't do that, which you'll see after the video. So now we'd like to send it over to Vicki at Cleveland Cookie Dough Company to hear what she has to say.
Hi, I'm Vicki Kotris. I'm co-owner of Cleveland Cookie Dough Company. You can see our Dough-mobile chip right there behind me with my co-owner Steve, also my husband, work in the window. Cleveland Cookie Dough Company serves up ready-to-eat cookie dough that's safe because we use heat-treated flour. We don't use egg in any of our products. We also serve up ice cream sundaes and other fun desserts all over Northeast Ohio. We had started the company in 2018 as a nights and weekends type of hobby project. And fast forward 2 years later, and this is our full-time gig, and we travel all over the city serving up edible cookie dough and meeting a lot of amazing people. About a year ago, we had looked more into having a physical presence and opening up a brick and mortar. And we knew that community was a really important piece of that, and we wanted to do something in the city of Cleveland. We also live in the city of Cleveland, so that made it even more important to us. And what we started to do was design different dessert concepts that would be really fun to bring to the neighborhood, something that no one was doing in the city today. But also incorporate Cleveland cookie dough, have a place for Chip to pop up, and have a bigger presence. So when we started looking at our option to build out our brick and mortar, we looked at financing options and pulling a bunch of puzzle pieces together, securing funding from way more sources than I ever thought we would need to, and HFLA has been a really big part of that. So we're very grateful for their partnership, and they were really the first piece of the puzzle to come together and help us grow partnerships with the city of Cleveland and other financiers. So we're really happy, and we're so excited to open. We can't wait to see you guys in middle of August when we launch our brick and mortar.
Thank you so much, Vicki. It was really awesome to work with you with your product to create this dessert. So when you're all done blending and you put it in your little glasses, it should look something like this. I don't know if you all can see it, but it's pretty good.
They look delicious.
Wow. So, yeah. We are really appreciative of the work that HFLA does for our community and those who work within the food and drink industry. This pandemic has displaced so many food and drink service workers, and the COVID-19 emergency loans have helped many whose hours were cut or were laid off and unable to access other forms of finance to get through this strange time. We have also been exposed to HFLA's work through our industry peers who have found business funding through HFLA to grow their businesses when there were no other finance options available. We are proud to have been able to be part of this event this evening and show our support. We hope that you all have enjoyed yourselves this evening and have an opportunity to get to know some of these local businesses that we have seen here tonight.
Now, we all know why you are Cleveland's top chefs. That was all amazing, and I'm starving right now. Jeremy, Douglas, Brandon, Don, thank you for showing us how to create a gourmet meal. It was incredible. And at this time, please welcome our HFLA Board President, Laura Kleinman.
Thank you, Michal, and thank you, all of you, for spending time with us this evening. Jeremy, Doug, Brandon, Don, thank you so much for your support and your friendship over these years. So I'd like to take a moment and share how proud I am to serve on the board of an organization that really anticipated the needs of those who would suffer financial loss from the COVID-19 pandemic. In mid-March of this year, as a board, we were able to answer the call and came to the aid of our community members by setting up a program that would provide financial relief, the COVID-19 Emergency Fund. The program launched just minutes after Governor DeWine closed Ohio schools. And since its inception, we have issued over $65,000 in interest-free emergency loans. To you and me, these may seem like small interest-free loans in the amount of $1,500, but to our loan recipients, these funds represent a way to pay rent, put food on the table, and take care of just basic human needs. 2 weeks ago, it seemed like we were starting to get out of the woods as businesses and restaurants began to open again. But now, and they're plateauing a little bit, but virus numbers are climbing again. And we find ourselves anticipating the need for financial relief. As we fight to help families and small businesses stop evictions, hunger, and homelessness, we continue to need your help. Consider how a contribution to HFLA could help pay for a young mother's childcare, a restaurant worker's rent, and food, or to keep an independent business owner afloat as they adapt to new and develop new business strategies. In the chat box at the bottom of your screen again, there is a link to our website. If you would like to ensure that the COVID-19 Emergency Fund continues to dispense loans to hard-working Northeast Ohioans, please click or visit later.
Laura, I'm sorry to interrupt, but the work of HFLA is so important to me now more than ever. I'd like to offer a match of up to $1,500 raised throughout this week. If you're able to contribute to this wonderful organization, please do.
Oh, thanks so much, Douglas. We're so grateful for your generosity together, and together we can replant Northeast Ohio. To make your contribution now, click the link in the chat box. Every donation helps to support small business and education here in Northeast Ohio, and the link to donate will be live on our website until Monday, August 3rd. So stay tuned to your inbox for funds raised in the coming week. We still have a few minutes left, and I'd like to invite our 3 chefs back for some questions from our audience. If you have a burning question, please feel free to drop it in the Q&A box. And we have many questions so far. So let me take a look at these. And I am going to ask questions of all of you. Let me start with Jeremy. So, well, this is a funny one, but I'd like to know, Jeremy, your answer to it. Any good tips on cutting onions so you don't cry?
You know what, surprisingly, there's one thing I found over the years that works. And when I have my contacts in, like I do today, it works. So if you're a contact wearer, you'll notice a difference. And that's because the lens is covering your eye and you're not getting the fumes. Everybody else, you're out of luck.
Stick your head in the freezer.
Dude, that was her life.
Any other comments from any of you?
I've also heard like try to dice them underneath running water, cold running water. But that's really impractical because you're gonna wash away all your onions down the drain.
Yeah, that would not be good. Douglas, someone wanted to know if that was your home kitchen.
This is my home kitchen, yes. I'm very lucky.
There may be a follow-up question. We'll have to see. How about are scallions and green onions the same thing?
They are.
Wait, these are easy questions. And then Douglas, one other question right now. What was your first job?
My first job, well, I had a first job. I wanted to be my first job, and I had a first job. So Zach Brule, I went to Z Contemporary Cuisine when they were in Shaker Heights and went to beg him for a job, and he said I was too young and I needed experience. So I ended up going to work at Shujiro on Lee Road as a busboy, and I used to clean all the sushi platters, and I used to eat all the extra sushi that was left at the end of the night. And then I went back to Zach and said, now I have experience, can I work for you? And he hired me. But I love both experiences, and so.
I remember Shujiro very well, very good place. Brandon, how do you find or identify the co-ops you want to work with? What kind of research is involved?
I work with some really great specialty coffee importers Most of them are based out of New York. One's in Chicago, and one is on the West Coast. So everything coffee in the coffee industry is relationship based, similar to chefs at their restaurants and their producers. So really, it's just word of mouth. I know what I want to find, and then I just find the help to get to those different farms and co-ops.
How did you get into this business?
I really just fell into this industry like, oh my gosh, 23 years ago now. I just graduated college. I was working for a headhunting company in Kansas City. That business closed. I had a friend that worked at a specialty coffee roastery in Kansas City, and she said, just come work production until you figure out what you want to do. And that's how it started. So.
Well, we are glad you are in it. Let's see, we still have more questions coming in. Jeremy, how can you tell if a watermelon is good? I've heard about knocking on it, but I think there's something about the color of the outside too. What can you tell us?
Yeah, so that does get fairly complex because there are literally hundreds of species of watermelon. Some have really, really dark, almost black rinds with yellow spots on them. They call them moon and stars. They're beautiful. Others have light green skin with dark green ribbing on them and are the size of your palm. So generally speaking, though, two things. So the thud is one of them. And kind of when you tap it gently, it should be a very deep and mellow thud. If it sounds bright and watery, then it is watery and it's waterlogged. Like it'll be washed out in flavor. The other is the ground spot. And that's where the watermelon was resting on the ground. That spot should be as dark a yellow color as possible. If it's light green like the rest of the rind, or it hasn't darkened and turned really, really yellow yet, you can pretty much guarantee there was no sugar development. And it's going to be another washed out watermelon. As much water as watermelon has, there is a line, right? Too much and you lose all the sugars. One thing to kind of go for too, yellow varieties and orange varieties or swirled varieties where the flesh is mixed tend to have a higher vitamin C content and more complexity to them. So they're going to have these wonderful tart notes to them. And that goes like, it's really mind blowing once you eat that next to a pure red one. So.
Do they grow those swirled orange and pink and yellow ones here in Ohio?
Yeah, they grow anywhere. You know, talk to your local farmer and see if they can grow them. Something like a Van Werten watermelon or the Moon and Stars. There's another one called Orange Glow Sorbet Swirl. Those are some varieties. So you can say, hey, do you mind growing this variety next year? Or if you contact like Southern Exposure Seeds or seedsavers.org, one of the heirloom seed companies, most of them carry seeds for all these types of watermelon, and you can grow them yourself.
Great. That's good. Great information. Hey, Brandon and Don, if a guest is allergic to nuts, is there another cookie dough flavor you would recommend substituting in the wonderful shake we had tonight?
Yeah, definitely. So Vicky has 3 other flavors: chocolate chip, birthday sprinkles, and cookies and cream that do not have nuts or tree nuts in them. So the peanut butter one that we use tonight is the only one that has that.
Okay. All right. Good to know. Let's see, what else do we have from our audience? I'm thinking the answer is yes, but Jeremy, can you use Greek yogurt instead of creme fraiche?
Yeah, most definitely. You know, when it comes down to it, yogurt, Greek yogurt, sour cream, creme fraiche, clotted cream, they're all fermented dairy products. So each one's got their nuance. I like the creme fraiche in this recipe because it's got more of a sweet cream flavor compared to the other ones, and it goes really well with the fruit. But if you've got a great Greek yogurt that you like, that's perfectly acceptable.
Okay, all right. So I'm just going through these now. All right, I got a question for each of you before we might have to start closing things up. I personally want to know the answer to this one. Brandon and John, can you give some tips on how to make the best cold brew at home? Because as I've said before, I don't think it's watching my coffee sit in the pot all day long and then sticking it in the refrigerator and drinking it the next day.
Yeah, that'd be kind of gross. You can do that, but not recommended. A super easy recipe to do at home is grind about three quarters of a cup of coffee, grind it very coarse, put that in about 4 cups of cold water, just mix it all together, let it steep in your refrigerator for about 18 to 24 hours, and then strain out the grounds, and that'll produce about 2, maybe 2.5 cups of cold. Now remember, cold brew is going to be pretty concentrated in terms of like flavor and caffeine. But the really cool thing about cold brew coffee is it takes the majority of the acidity from the coffee and just delivers you a really rich, intense flavor profile. So it can be used straight or in drinks like we made tonight. So yeah, that's probably the easiest way to do it at home.
Okay, I'll definitely do that instead of my alternative. Okay. That sounds pretty straightforward. Douglas, we've got a question. What is your favorite food genre?
My favorite food genre?
Yes.
I would say local farmers market food, if that's not too broad. I do love vegetables because I love that every point in the year, whether it's fruits or vegetables, you can experience different ones and make different dishes using all different ones. I do love summer, the sweet corn and the tomatoes and the squashes and peaches and berries and all of that, but I can't limit it to one genre, I don't think.
Good. I was going to ask you a question about all the zucchini I keep getting in my freshwater market share, but I'm seeing that there's a question about the watermelon rind in the recipe earlier, and there have been a few questions about it, but I'm not quite sure what the question is.
I forgot them in the rest. I didn't add them earlier.
Oh,
I really forgot. Behind the scenes, everybody, I was like texting Ethel and everybody. I was like, I forgot the watermelon. But just dice it up and fold it into your salad. It's totally great.
Right. All right, good. So we gotta go back to my zucchini issue. I mean, this is not unique to me. Everyone who's growing zucchini or getting them in share, whatever, gets tons and tons of zucchini. I've been like chopping mine up with other types of squash and throwing it in a grill basket. But I think my family's getting really tired of it. Any suggestions?
I say it again. I was having trouble hearing you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I've been cutting up my zucchini and squash and putting it in a grill basket with some olive oil. I've even put on Micah's Supreme sauce, which is pretty good. But I think my family is getting sick of it. So do you have any other suggestions for the zucchini?
Well, to me, I think if you just dice the zucchini and have a really hot pan with olive oil and start the zucchini in your pan first to get some nice browning on it, whether it's green zucchini or golden zucchini. First, I think it's going to add a sweetness, and if you saute onions, or if you add onions to that too, and then it adds a nice sweetness to it. If not, I think you're roasting it and making a great soup, or somehow if you have a wood-fired grill, or if you have like a Weber grill, even grilling that and then making, using those squashes and giving them sort of a smoky flavor and making great soup with them, I think is excellent. Even a vegetarian sort of stuffed enchilada type thing would be great with with cheese and an enchilada sauce.
Good. Very good suggestions.
You don't have to cook it either, Laura.
I know. I can spiral it, right?
I mean, I don't get into all that, but slice it really thin. a little bit of olive oil, some sea salt on it, maybe a little bit of anchovy paste in there, and you've got just, something that's just wonderful. My wife Allie, this whole past week, we got 10 cases of squash in, huge cases from one of our farmers. She's been doing chocolate zucchini cake.
Yeah.
Chocolate cake that she grates the zucchini, she squeezes out the moisture and just throws a few handfuls in. And it's just, you got to use it up somehow.
Yes, that sounds delicious. I did do a couple zucchini breads this past week.
Yeah, find it just your regular favorite chocolate cake recipe. Just grate it, squeeze out the moisture, and just fold it in, and then bake it as normal. You'll be like, wow, this is great. Makes it moist too.
Hey, Jeremy, one other question for you. Have you ever made the green tomato salad with tomatoes that are green with tomatoes that are green when ripe, like a green zebra tomato?
Yes, most definitely, and that works totally just as well. For something like that though, that green zebra tomato or that German Johnson, Aunt Molly's green tomatoes, all these are ones that are ripe when they're green. They've got such great flavors by themselves that I feel like throwing all the onion and everything else in there, like slice that, put it on some toasted bread with a little salt and eat them that way, or just bite those like an apple. You don't got to dress them up at all.
Yeah, it's an amazing time of year.
Is it?
Man, the audience wants to go back to the watermelon rind. So, someone wants to know what happened to the watermelon rind.
Yeah, I thought we clarified that.
Did you?
I forgot to cut it up and put it in the salad. I was distracted.
Maybe someone took a break and they didn't hear your previous.
Yeah. So if you're following along, go ahead, dice it up, small dice, fold it in your green tomato salad, and you'll love it.
All right. So we've got time. This has been lots of fun. We could go on for a while, I'm sure, but we've got time for one last question. And this is a good one for Douglas. One of our guests is a vegetarian asking about alternatives to the beef for the tacos. So what would you recommend?
So this time of year, I think eggplant would be really great. You could also use mushrooms or a combination of the two. But I think the eggplant with the supreme sauce would be really great. And I would probably saute, or, if you cook the eggplant, if you saute it and then cook it lightly in olive oil and then make it nice and soft, and then you could finish it with that supreme sauce, or just brush that on and then finish it in the oven to roast it. It would be great.
That does sound good. Hey, thank you. Thank you so much, all of you, to our chefs for sharing your time, talent, and recipes with us. For more information about their establishments, for all of you watching, please visit their websites and continue to support local during this time. And Michal, I'm going to turn it back to you.
Thanks, Laura. And thank you to all of you for attending. It means a lot to all of us at HFLA that we were able to find a way to connect with you. These past months have been trying for all of us. We've had to quickly adjust, adapt, and vacate the office while managing new touch-free technologies and dealing with an influx in loan requests. It's been a little exhausting, and I do want to take a moment to thank my staff for working so hard over the past months, and to thank our board for being flexible and committed through all of this. Before we let you go, I think a few of you may have purchased raffle tickets in advance of this evening's event. First, thank you to all of the HFLA small businesses that donated to this raffle, as well as today's chefs. You will receive an email with a list of HFLA small businesses in order for you to continue to support local. Now I'm gonna draw a winner. And this is going to be first for the Taste of HFLA basket that's valued at $200. Let's see who the winner is. And that is Lisa Lowe. And we will coordinate with you tomorrow how to get you the basket. And next, I am going to draw for the basket, Taste of HFLA again, but valued over $600. And that winner is Christine Weiss. And we will call you tomorrow and figure out how to get that to you. So please save the date for our fall virtual event, which is going to be Wednesday, October 21st at 5:30. The topic's going to be fostering financial equity. We're going to have a panel, and we're planning on an exceptional panel, so stay tuned and we'll have more details soon. Don't forget to stay connected with us. You can follow us on Facebook to see our many new videos featuring our small business loan recipients. You can follow us on Instagram to view inspirational stories from our education loan recipients. And you can join our quarterly e-newsletter to stay in the loop. We hope you enjoyed this unique experience. We appreciate you spending the evening with us, and also a special thanks again to J Auto Group for sponsoring this event. Thank you.